What makes you think she's a witch?
Well, she turned me into a newt.
A newt?
We got better.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think with flies. Think.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Wait, Master. It might be dangerous. You go first.
When you want to talk sports, you ask folks who have seen it all up close. So on the Al Travis Show, we go with the guys at the end of the bench. Time to talk all things sports.
Lucky to have him back. John's back with us. John, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm good, Al, and nice to be here. How are you today?
Very good. We missed you on Monday. Are we allowed to say our condolences to you and your family? Your dad passed last week, and good man, 96, right? That's amazing.
96, a life well lived. In fact, until his last about 4 to 6 weeks, he was living alone. So
wow, good for him.
I hope we all do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope we all do. And then we haven't mentioned yet, I guess because I'm not Catholic, we got a new pope, and you were telling the story that you kind of found out in a weird way. Can you tell us how you found out about the pope?
Yeah, so we had a service yesterday morning, right?
Yep.
And Catholic, we're Catholic.
Sure.
I was born and raised Catholic, and after the service, we take the procession out to the cemetery for the graveside service. And we get there, and move the casket over, and we're all assembling and getting ready for that. And the priest has a funny look on his face, and he kind of looks up. He goes, "I have to share something with you all before we start." He goes, "A new pope has been elected," and he said who it was. And I was like, "Wow!"
Yeah, and
took the vote, and we were in the church for the ceremony.
See, this bothers me in a couple ways, John. First, how cool is it to have an American pope? From Chicago. That's kind of cool. We'll find out what he's all about. Leo, I think he's going with the name. But guess me.
Leo.
So, is it normal for your father, your pastor, to carry a phone in his pocket while working? How do you find out? I mean, he gets
they
buzzed.
Did, and I think they all had phones. So I think he got some kind of alert, or maybe there's a special signal from the archbishop.
Once the white smoke goes up, everybody's phones go off. I have no idea. All right, well, that's kind of cool.
Send out a bat signal. It's a giant cross in the sky.
Anyway, good news for Catholics. Congratulations to your dad, by the way. That is the life well lived.
Thank you very much.
All right, other news to discuss, because we didn't get to talk about it. Well, I guess it happened on Tuesday, so it wouldn't. So let's go back to the first Golden State Warrior Timberwolves basketball game. Did you get to watch any of that? Did you see what happened there?
A debacle.
I like that. It was truly a debacle. You are correct. Go ahead.
They couldn't shoot to save their lives. What was that? I think the percentage. I remember checking it at the half.
17%.
And I think their 3-point percentage was 5. Are you kidding me? I could have a 5% point shooting stat.
Well, and at one point in these playoffs, I think the 3-point shooter Ant, who, of course, we had more 3 points than we've ever had, yada, yada. He was 1 for 16 at one point going through that game.
I know.
Like, holy smokes. So, if I had told you,
they
John,
deserve to lose, okay?
Well,
I mean, horrible shooting.
Yeah, but that being said, John, I went to bed at halftime. Beside it being late, that's who I am. Warriors lost Steph Curry with like 3 minutes to play in that first half, and I thought it was over for the Warriors. You take Curry out of there, what have they got left? But the rest of that team rallied. I really would have thought we would have won that ball game. First, it's a home game. We had to have the win. We shot like crap. It never came around. I thought the second half we were going to win that game, but we did not. Lost 99-88. Now,
no, that third quarter they had 36 points, and we had a pretty good fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Offensively and defensively, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
It just wasn't enough.
So we end up losing that game. So then this becomes last night's ball game. The only one on last night, by the way, which was kind of cool, 7:30. A guy could watch the game.
Yes.
It was like the same game happened, but we switched jerseys. Warriors come out. I think they missed their first 15 shots. They didn't score a point in the first 5 minutes of basketball. So it was like 13, 15, nothing, something goofy number. So it was over. How much can one guy be on a team? It seemed like without Steph Curry, I don't think Warriors have any kind of chance.
That's the question everybody's asking, and I'm asking myself the same thing. I mean, they played about as good as they could without him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, 15 points in that first quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a high school score. All right.
See, but I think what happens, sorry, John, jump in. When you don't have Steph Curry, right? Because when he's on the court, they have one or two guys following him around at all times because he never stops moving. So you take your best defender and a helper defender. Now there's 3-on-4 the other way. Your other guys can be open and things work. You take Steph out of the mix, our best defender gets to go against Butler, and it just works itself down. I saw nothing that the Warriors could do against this thing, against us, because without Steph, it's like you had an extra man and a half on the court.
It's a big hurt for them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I don't want to see us, well, I mean, I want to see us take advantage, let's be real, right?
You got to play who's out there.
Yeah, you know, you got to play who's out there and see how good you are. It's unfortunate it happened. We're probably going to take advantage of that for at least 2 more games. If I had to make a prediction now, I would say Wolves in 6.
Yep.
And I think that's a fair estimate. I think we'll take
one out there.
We'll take a couple out there. We'll take a couple out there if they don't have Steph.
Okay.
And then we'll come back here and we'll win. Could it be 5? Maybe, but Golden State's not a slouch, so I think 6 games.
All right, and I think that's a fair call. It really depends. I don't know if I believe we'll see any Steph Curry. A hamstring is weird as you get older, and they say it takes a week. Well, if you rest it for a week, massage it, whatever you got to do, it might feel okay, but it is so quick to spring back that I don't know that they risk him.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
If they go him out there, let's say they're at let's say it's a Game 6 situation. They want to get him out there to stave it off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
We're up like 3-1 maybe?
Yeah.
Or 3-2?
3-2.
And he's trying to push it and be the leader. And, down goes Curry. You could be out for months with a hammy.
I almost think Warriors, put a big piece of tape on there, tighten it up tight, tells Curry you're not going to run anywhere. Just stand at your favorite 3-point slot, because then someone has to guard you. We'll play around. If your guy ever comes off you, just stand there and shoot. I think they would have been better off.
You get a giant garbage full of ice water, and he sticks that leg in it anytime he's on a break.
Yeah.
And he stands there freezing that leg so he doesn't feel a thing.
Yep, there you go. And they got drugs for that sort of thing. Let's talk some of the other series quick before we move on. The Thunder and the Nuggets. The Nuggets win the first game, I guess, shocker. But then the Thunder come out and beat the Nuggets, with the ugly stick. Beat them by 43. Show that, hey, that's not who we are. This is who we are. They play again this evening. I got to put all my money on the Thunder, right?
I still think you do, even though they're playing in Denver. I mean, and hats off to Denver, okay? Mm-hmm. They're battle-tested, as we can say, because the Clippers took them to 7 games.
Yep.
So, they're going to come through, and they're like, hey, and everybody knows Oklahoma City's a favorite.
Yeah.
So if you're going to face Oklahoma City, you let it all hang out. You just put it all out there, man.
Fair enough.
Play with abandon.
Yeah, you got nothing to lose. On the other side, this has really been interesting on the Eastern Conference. The Pacers have upset the Cavaliers so far. They're up 2-0. Now they get to come home. I don't know. I really thought Cavaliers were another level, but this Pacer team is peaking at the right time. I'm putting my money at the Pacers winning this one at home and going up 3-0 and knocking out a first-place team.
That would really be something. They were the 4 seed going in.
Yeah.
And they're taking it to Cleveland.
Yeah, they really are.
Cleveland looked like they were going to cruise through sort of like Oklahoma City, right? You looked at those squads, and we all agree that the eastern half was the weaker half of the bracket.
Yep.
But, boy, that'd be a fun little upset to have. Something's got to happen like that, right?
Well,
I think it's they picked that team to take the fall to make the playoffs more exciting for the news.
There might be 2 of those, because I'm telling you right now, and I don't blame Cat for this, but that Brunson kid in the Knickerbockers are upsetting the Celtics something fierce. They're up 2-0 now. They're going home. You could I could see them now doing that. Brunson doesn't know how to lose, it seems. I think he could upset the Celtics. I really do. They take one here at home, and now
there could be Indiana, New York semifinal.
Yeah,
you're looking at one.
My bracket has been busted, but am I wrong? And again, Cat's doing okay, but it's all Brunson over there in New York.
It is. It is.
All right, we've got some good news, bad news to talk about with the Minnesota Twins. We'll do that coming up here in just a matter of moments. It's John from the guys at the end of the bench on the Al Travis Show.
All the special interests are represented in St. Paul. But who speaks for you? Center of the American Experiment does. Our policy fellows dig into the tough issues that matter to you and offer common sense solutions on education, taxes, crime, and energy. American Experiment is the trusted, nonpartisan voice of Minnesotans like you. We are working every day to make Minnesota a better, safer, more prosperous place. We are American Experiment. Go to americanexperiment.org to learn more.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you try something different. Put out the perfect barbecue flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. Add it to your ribs, dip the meatballs, or drench your wings in the original flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. It isn't too hot or spicy, fruity or smoky or whatever. Grandpa's Barbecue. Available in select stores and online at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
Amongst friends, the Al Travis Show. Nothing but talk.
And we've got him, John, back in from the guys at the end of the bench. John, good news, bad news about those Minnesota Twins. Seems like I'm playing. It seems like they figured something out. That's good news. We've won 5 in a row, John. How cool is that? And the big sweep of the Orioles.
That is really something. I mean, the Orioles are way down this year for whatever reason. And, you know, the talk was, I mean, what was it, just a year ago? They were big contenders?
Yeah.
But still, looking at this Twins team, you're like, well, if they find a way to cough it up, they will. But they've been playing some smart baseball.
Yep.
A few mistakes, yeah. But the pitching's been solid. The relievers have been great. And the timely hitting. Timely hitting.
Yeah.
Which is something that I'm always harping on because they never are able to get guys across with runners in scoring position. Could they still score more? Sure. But they're doing what they got to do to win the game, and it's fun to watch.
How far off were we on the Central Division here, John, in the American League? Because I was saying, I think we discussed this going into the year, it's the Central Division. If you just a little over 500, you're going to be in contention, right? You're going to be there.
Right.
Well, Minnesota's getting close to back to 500, and we're not. We're 7 games out. I'm looking at the total wins. Detroit has 25. Cleveland has 22. The Kansas City Royals have 23. That's more than New York, Boston, the Seattle Mariners, the Athletics. We have the top 3 teams are right now with better win totals than anyone else in the division.
The only team that has a winning percentage as good as Detroit is the LA Dodgers.
That's yeah. So
I mean,
is this
wow? Who would have thought that? And they're 100 points up on percentage over the Yankees. Okay,
this is my point. So John, so you're talking what is it? 38 games, almost a quarter of the way through the season. We can start making some assumptions now, right? This Central might be better than we thought.
The Central might be better than we thought and better than the pundits thought. However, I don't think Detroit is going to keep this up.
Oh, okay.
I don't. I think Minnesota, if we keep playing the way we are, we'll get back in the mix. I think Cleveland is going to be up there.
Let me talk Cleveland. Let me throw Cleveland out.
They'll still be part of it, but they're not going to dominate the way they've been dominating.
Okay. Well, let's just look at it for a second here, because if you go the differential, the number of runs you've scored versus the runs you've given up, Detroit is way out there. 83 more runs scored than they've given up. That's how you get to 25-13. What I don't get is, tell me how Cleveland is a negative 14. They win the close ones. They get blown out by other ones, evidently, and that is a pitching thing. But Kansas City and us were right there, 15-16. I don't get how Cleveland is in second spot, 22-15, with the run differentials that is 30-some different than ours.
Yeah, I think it's just been the luck of who they've been matched up against.
Okay.
I think that one will even out, too. Cleveland is a good team. Everybody said it was going to be, they were picked to win the division a lot.
Yep.
Kansas City was up there, and Detroit was kind of in the mix, but Detroit was still sort of seen as rebuilding. But, Detroit's got a couple of hot pitchers, and that's helping a lot, too, and hot hitters, as you said, by discussing that run differential. They have not been known as a big run-scoring machine.
Yeah.
That's why I still have some doubts it will happen. I think they're going to slump sooner rather than later, and it will even out. But it's going to take a little time. But yeah, we're into May now. Start cruising through these series and get into the nice days of summer. I think the Twins are finding the method to their madness.
Okay.
And everybody's back and staying healthy. It shows how important it is to have your guys healthy.
Okay.
And some of the young guns and some of those other guys are really contributing. How about Harrison Bader? I love that guy.
Yes.
Wow.
Let me ask you this, John. What is a good team batting average? About 250, 260, something like that?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right.
I think.
Because we were only 10 days ago, we were talking this Minnesota Twins squad was looking to get to 200. They're like 199. They're at 237 as a team now. That is the difference, because it's not just, 0.037 more. You have to do a lot more to raise that up. They're up to a 237. I think that's got to be all the difference. It is getting the hits.
It is. And San Francisco is at 236. I was just looking that up ahead of this series coming in. So San Francisco's got 24 wins, but, their batting average is not huge. Yeah. So it probably points to their pitching. But we're going to be playing at home, and home's been pretty friendly to us lately. And we got a couple of our big gun pitchers in the series, Ryan and Pablo. So I expect 2 out of 3 for this one.
All right. I don't think that's a terrible call. I'm going to tell you that I worry about today's game, because Ryan evidently said he's just coming off the worst sickness he's ever had. It was like death warmed over. He said it was just horrible. Yeah. I wonder if he has it now. Maybe he's completely fine and they took care of him. But he says he's coming off that, so I'm a little worried about tonight's game. But I think we can take 2 out of 3 on these guys. You bet.
Well, tonight is supposed to be Paddock. I think they adjusted Ryan's start a little bit, so they're giving him an extra day.
Well, and we won't get to watch it anyway. Why did they put this on Apple TV, John? Stupid cable people. All right. So I guess I'll have to see if I can see it. Maybe it's got that weird television channel I've got now that only plays the Twins games. I'll see if I can watch it. Johnny, I got to go. I appreciate you again. God bless you and your family and what you're going through. And again, shout out to your dad. 96 is fantastic.
Thank you, Al. And I really appreciate you giving the time to acknowledge my father today. And let's go Wolves and let's go Twins, everybody.
All right. We'll talk again on Monday. He's John, the guy at the end of the bench.
Achieving your financial goals requires individual planning and a comprehensive approach. At Midwest Money Management, our mission is to provide you